Well, welcome back to more bad news. This is Sunday, the 26th of September, and this is for my History 251 class. Apologize for last week. This semester has been a little bit raggedy to begin with. And I wanted you to understand that I think I've said I have 30 years of experience teaching here at Ferris, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is entirely new. I didn't ask for any of this. I never wanted to teach this way. I didn't want to, be staring at myself in a computer, working with Canvas. And I had been working with Blackboard, and then the university dropped Blackboard and switched to Canvas. I had already knew how to do Blackboard, and I had to learn how to do Canvas. And then this course that I'm teaching you this semester is all brand new. I set this up at the end of last semester and between the break. So I'm serious when I say that this is not what I bargained for or dreamed of or imagined. It's all, and I imagine that, for you, life is very similar. Reading your journals. I mean, you didn't bargain for this. You didn't want your last year of high school, your first year of college to end up looking like this. You didn't want to have to go around wearing masks all the time. You didn't want to be in a world that was this utterly chaotic. And I appreciate that. We're in this boat together. And I trying to do the best by you that I can. So with that said, we're talking about Hitler's American model. We're introducing the course with this very stark and bizarre notion that the Nazis looked to America for racist inspiration because the United States of America has been from its beginning for over 2 centuries the bastion, the beacon, the center of white supremacy, of racist ideology in the Western world. That's the thesis of the course. We started off as a slave society in which we were enslaving Black people. White people were enslaving Black people. And we were the largest slave nation in the world in 1860. And after the Civil War, it wasn't over. It wasn't over at all. We supposedly changed our constitution to recognize that the United States of America was going to become an incredible and exciting new experiment in biracial democracy, in a democracy that was going to define citizenship not by race. But that went by the wayside, and I was born into a United States of America in 1947 that was a thoroughly racist society, in which Jim Crow was the law of the land in the South, in which the Supreme Court and the federal government were all engaged in promoting segregation and in the subjection of Black people to a thoroughly racist system. What I mean by that is that the Jim Crow system, Black people in this country could not vote. And here, in the North, you think that, well, the racism wasn't in the North, but the federal government segregated communities. I grew up, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and my father when I was 3 years old, moved to the suburbs of New York, to Hicksville, New York. Unbeknownst to me, my father bought a home that was federally subsidized and required that that home be sold to white people only. And the mortgage that my father signed to buy that house stated explicitly that he could not resell the house to anyone who wasn't white. That's when I was born. That's way after the Civil War. We're talking about a country that until the Korean War, the federal army, the United States Army was a segregated army. When we fought the Nazis in World War II, we fought the Nazis we kept all of our black soldiers in black troops all together without white people, except for the white people who were in charge of telling them what to do. So it's a totally strange view of the United States, and it's a backward view. It's a view that does not recognize progress. It's not like Jim Crow was better than slavery. And when the Jim Crow system collapsed, what my academic career has been about is discussing and describing the institution and implementation in academia, in ideology, of a third system of white supremacy based on modern psychological explanations. You know, I was on television debating with this professor who was a Simon Guggenheim fellow and who was a world-renowned scientist, who said that Black people have small heads, little brains, and large genitals, and that they were clearly inferior to white people. And that was in the 1980s and 1990s. So it's no surprise to me that Black people are being murdered on the streets by white cops all the time. Or that, as we're going to read in Michelle Alexander's incredible book on the new Jim Crow, that more Black boys are in prison rather than in college, that the children in Flint, Michigan were systematically, their brains were fed lead when they were little children, which is going to affect them for their entire lives. So we are looking at it's almost like an X-ray. Instead of we normally look at America as a progressive and liberal and democratic and everything else kind of society, and I'm looking at it in a very dark fashion, saying that no, the United States is the center of evil in the world. That the United States was the empire that it inherited the empire that was Great Britain, and that we are now a empire in collapse, and that inequality has been the driving force behind the collapse of our civilization, and the what I think is probably the deserved outcome of our species' selfishness. But what I wanted to share with you today is a dream I had, a waking dream. This was decades ago. And it was just a sunny day. I like to go for walks. When I'm walking, I'm daydreaming, I'm imagining things and the stories are coming in my head. And so this is an imaginary story, but the facts fit the reality. So I imagined that there was this Nazi, German. And you know that the Germans the Protestant Germans were Lutherans. So he's a Nazi, a German, a Lutheran, raised from childhood. He doesn't like Jews. And one day he's arrested by the Gestapo and they say, you're a Jew. And he says, what are you talking about? I'm a Jew. No, I'm a Lutheran. I'm a German. I belong to the Nazi party. I hate Jews. He said, no. We've discovered that your mother was a Jew. Well, no, my mother converted to Lutheranism. She became a Christian, married a Christian, but long before I was born. When I was born, she was a Christian, and my father was a Christian, and I was raised a Christian, and I'm a Christian, I'm a German, I'm a Nazi, and I hate Jews. And the Gestapo Nazis say, no, you're a Jew. Your mother was a Jew. You're a Jew. So he loses the argument, and they take him away, and he ends up in Auschwitz, and they put him into the gas chamber. So now he's in gas chambers. 1,500 Jews are in the gas chamber, and they shut the door, and he's in this gas chamber with surrounded by 1,500 Jews. He hates Jews. He really doesn't want to be there, believe me. And they drop the gas, and the gas, I don't know whether you realize, but the gas rose from the floor up, and in the end, when they would open up the gas chamber doors, there would be a pyramid of people, and on the top were those who died last, who crawled up over the others in order to gain the last breath of air until the poison went to the ceiling. And as the poison gas is rising, gets up to his nose, and he takes his last breath, he doesn't have another breath to take. And in that last breath, he realizes, oh my God, I'm a Jew. In his last breath, he realizes that he was a Jew. That nothing that he did or thought about his entire life, everything he had believed was true was completely untrue. He was not a Lutheran and a German and a Nazi. He was a Jew. What is the value of his revelation, of his epiphany? Suddenly realizes it, but he doesn't have another breath to take. There's nothing at all that he can do with that information. Think about the story in terms of where we are, from my perspective, on the brink of extinction. The human race is about to breathe its last. And if that's true, then, the idea that, we study history so we don't make the same mistakes, that's out the window. We've made all the mistakes that we can possibly make. We are on a trajectory that is irreversible. And if that's the case, then none of this is meaningful. I have no answer for this. I want you to know. It's one of the reasons why I'm retiring, because I don't think that I have anything that I can really offer you other than a vision of reality, which I'm convinced is true, and that I have been living with it and growing comfortable with for almost a decade now. It was 2012 when I really came to the realization that it was over for us. And one of the things that I have discovered is that it's all right. I mean, you still have today. You always have the moment. But beyond that, I don't know. and for young people like you, I have no advice. So I hope you'll be tolerant as we move forward into the chaos that is certainly coming as part of our semester. As I say, I'm going to try to review things with you and give you stuff that will be food for thought, at least. I hope to keep you thinking. We're going to be reading some astonishing material. And we're also, it's time to sit back and we're going to watch some video. Unfortunately, just disturbing video. The things are disturbing here. Looking forward to checking out your term paper ideas and bibliographies. I'm gonna once again. We're just playing catch up, and it's unending. You know, this is not, again. As I said, this is not what I bargained for, but I'm still way behind in reading the journals from the second week and the third week. And now what I really have to attend to is your term papers, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So with that, it's Sunday. I hope that your weekend was good. I will see you this week. I think we were meeting on Wednesday, right? And this time, I think I've got the room right. At least I hope so. So with that, I'll talk to you on Wednesday, and